There was a Nintendo Direct yesterday, so let's quickly go through every single announcement and my thoughts on more areas to explore. Hopefully by the DLC's release, they'll release a patch that makes the game run at a stable frame rate, but honestly, even with Scarlet and Violet's flaws as a game, I thoroughly enjoyed them, so I'm not too worried either way. It's a generally fun game. And even if it's not perfect, it's still enjoyable. Next up, of course, was Sonic Superstars, a game that had already been announced, and every single thing they said in the Direct was all news that we already had from the website. Look, I'm a Sonic fan, I'm excited for this game, but this was an entirely pointless trailer, since every single piece of information was repeated from somewhere else. And next up is one of the handful of farming games in this Direct, and generally games I'm not interested in. I know I said I'm covering them all, but if I don't have anything to say on a game, I'm skipping it. Except for this one, which I have nothing to say on, but I'm covering it so I can say I'm gonna skip it. That makes perfect sense. Persona 5 Tactica. I'm planning on making a short covering this game, since I think I can cover everything relatively quickly, so you'll hear more about it there. So keep your eye out if you're interested. Detective Pikachu returns. I honestly forgot they announced this game. It was announced in like 2017. We hadn't heard of Pikachu, so I completely forgot about it. I meant to get around to the first game. I just never did, so I can't really comment much. But can we get a sequel to the film now? Wink wink, nudge nudge. Super Mario RPG Remake. 1, I'm surprised this is happening. 2, I'm sorry, these models look awkward. Like, they're very accurate recreations of the sprites, but they just look so compressed. Basically, it works on a sprite because of the limitations, but on a full 3D model, it just looks like you took Mario and then squished him. I don't know. It looks weird. Game itself actually looks really good. I might end up checking it out, but I actually have never played the original, so I might just end up playing that. Either way, I'm sure Geno fans are happy their character got acknowledged for once in a Blue Moon. Actually, I think Blue Moons are too common. The currently untitled Princess Peach project that I am calling Super Princess Peach 2. Hopefully, this game doesn't require 100% to beat the final boss. Honestly, it looks like it could be interesting. Essentially, a pseudo 2D platformer from what we've seen. Looks quite interesting. Either way, after that was a remaster of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on 3DS for the Switch. What? Like, if we're gonna remaster either of the 3DS Luigi's Mansion games for the Switch, I feel like we should do the original. That's a lot more liked. Or both. Dark Moon specifically just feels like an odd choice. Because if its availability or recentness, it's not that much older than the 3DS remake of the first game. Next up is Silent Hope. It looks somewhat interesting, however, the town voting stuff looks very boring. And the game kind of looks like Dragalia Lost, which I actually don't mind that art style. If it ends up coming to something like PC for relatively cheap, I might end up picking it up, but I'm generally not a fan of Diablo-style games, which this seems to be. As for the Pikmin stuff, I actually skipped past the Pikmin 4 stuff, just because we're so close to release, I'd rather go in as blind as I can. I have seen some stuff, but I'm trying to avoid it. And HD remasters of Pikmin 1 and 2 available on the eShop for actually a really good price for the games you're getting? Hell yeah, that sounds great. Genuinely, they're two fantastic games, despite 2 being easily the most hated in the franchise. It's still great. Honestly, I'm just really happy to see Pikmin getting the love it deserves after all these years. If you're enjoying and want to hear me talk about some more of the games in this video later down the line, then please consider liking and subscribing, since it really helps out the channel a ton. Thank you! As for the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass, honestly, really exciting. The new track looks pretty fun. Hopefully the other returning tracks are great. And the new characters are PD Piranha and Wiggler. PD Piranha is a deserved return, Wiggler I'm more mixed on, and Kamek finally getting his spotlight in a Mario Kart game after all these years. If you didn't know, he was originally planned to be in Mario Kart 64, but was replaced with Donkey Kong. They assumed they couldn't get licensing rights because his design was made by Rare. I mean, yeah, technically he's in Tour, but like, I'm pretty sure a paper plant is in Tour at this point. WarioWare Move It, a new WarioWare game that honestly feels like, just from what we've seen, it's more specifically a sequel to WarioWare Shake It. You know, also the name. Honestly, I've always enjoyed the WarioWare games, so this will probably be a fun game. But I'm not too sure about the 1-2 switch-esque movements the game seems to be asking you to do. But they honestly weren't that bad or intrusive in Shake It, so we'll just have to wait and see. And finally, for things I have to say something on from the Nintendo Direct, Mario Wonder. A brand new 2D Mario game. Yay, it has been a while. Also, since this is a complaint everyone has, it doesn't look exactly the same. And honestly, the movement looks pretty fun. Adding Daisy as a playable character is a nice change, and probably who I'll be playing as, especially if she's only cosmetic. And aside from that, I actually do think the game looks really nice. But there's one thing I haven't mentioned that I find hilarious. Mario can eat a plant. And when he does that, everything gets wiggly. I'm not sure how much I can say on YouTube, because they are an incredibly strict platform, and this is the first time I've ever had to say that, considering I am someone who generally is very lighthearted, but it's interesting. The new power-ups look interesting. Hopefully they're fun to use in effect, but they honestly don't look that interesting. Well, they have an interesting design, but I'm not sure if they'd be interesting to use. But honestly, Mario Wonder is probably a fun game. I'll definitely be trying it out, since Mario games are usually fun romps. And honestly, the animations and expressions on the playable characters look really good. Plus, it's been a while since I've played a 2D Mario game. So, I think everyone could be excited for it. Just kind of weird, Mario and Sonic are both releasing a 2D 4-player co-op Mario game at the same time. Just weird coincidence. What are your guys' thoughts? I'd be happy to hear more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!